on flicks, me a bad body. So, it's another one, yeah. It's a first run, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Rico!
Welcome, everybody. Thank you to another. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the RnR Hour. I have a very special guest joining us today. I don't know if you guys know about the Boxing Bros, huge channel in America. Actually, I've got to be real. One of the reasons why I actually decided to do this. Let the glasses go off for a little bit, but an amazing person. Please go check out their channel, the Boxing Bros. Unbiased, immaculate, and just incredible. However, I do have to show the same respect to my co-host. I actually bought a turtleneck because of this man. So yeah, that can show you the respect factor. Ra, you look like you're in a dungeon.
You're saying my living room looks dark and dingy?
No. I didn't say that, but it kind of looks like you.
Well, the reason I'm here today is because I'm having some decorating done, getting my bathroom done, because of the plumbing's all messed up. So there's no hot water, no central heating. So I've just come into the living room, put a nice heater on to keep me warm on this Arctic night. So there you go. How about that?
Well,
just looking up your friend, Bet Boxing Bros. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, wait a sec. It says he's based in London, so it's probably not the same one.
No, Boxing Bros USA. Big up. Is it snowing? No, Saka. And Saka, actually, that tells me that you're not in the UK, which is really cool. First of all, big up to everybody in the space right now. You know, Ra and I have been.
Bukayo. Where's Bukayo from then?
I don't know, Ra.
Where
but
is
he's a part of the family now. Saka. Oh, yeah. Saka's from London. Oh, say no more, my doggy. Man said, is it snowing? You know if it's snowing, bro. The Ra's there, next door to you, actually. So feel free to harass him. It's snowing here. Lucy, you are in America.
She's up in Chicago somewhere. That's oh god, man, those Great Lake places, they're like Arctic, yeah. So Godspeed, Lucy. You are you got a different level of cold that us lot can't hack. But thank you for joining all the way from Chicago. Is it snowing? Wait there. Since we're waiting for a guest, I'm just going to look out the window.
That's a lie. He's getting his Uber Eats right now. All halal, of course. And we're going to be obviously speaking about halal. We're going to be going into everything that's been going on in boxing in terms of His Excellency's interview with Ade. Big up to Ade. Been a fan of Ade for quite some time. However, I got to be real, and I actually messaged and said this. I will be taking that #1 spot, buddy. So enjoy it while it lasts.
No. Listen, Ade is the Neo of boxing media. You know why? He started in this YouTube matrix, escaped, and took his powers with him. Imagine that. You escaped the matrix.
Yeah, but he left behind. Like, but the thing is, Raw, we make it, and I've always said this. Yeah, we make it, but we still got to come back to our roots. And I think that's one thing about the RnR Hour in terms of myself, Rico, and in terms of a very turtlenecked man, Ra. We love you guys. the one major thing is that Ra is, you know, he won't say it, but I will 1,000,000% say it. He supports small hall fighters. He goes to small hall shows. He knows up and coming talent when they're up and coming talent. So the one thing that you really have to do, and if you take anything away from what I'm saying, is that you need to go search Punch Out Boxing, follow Ra, follow myself, and also we have the man Caden in the building. Caden, my doggy, how are you, bro?
Hey, what's good, Rico?
Big up, Caden.
Hey, man, I'm trying to get you to hear you on my headphones. I don't know why I can't hear you on my headphones, but can you hear me all right?
Yeah. We can hear you fine, bro. We can hear you fine.
All right, cool.
First of all, before we start the show, I just want to say this is for me a massive full circle moment. I say this to Caden and his brother Tro all the time. You know, I watched you guys when you had like no followers. This was very early back in the days of the LDBC. Caden, you'll probably know what I'm talking about in terms of the LDBC. What, you know, and I followed your journey, and I've just been such a massive fan. And you and I have never actually got to speak. He'll be back.
Well, man, you went on too long, man. Come on, take the hint.
Shut
Let
up.
other people talk. Let's just see what our fans are saying. Is it snowing in the UK? Tony Ellis, big up to you. Another regular. Tony, where are you from? In answer to your question, it depends what part of London. Bukayo Sako lives just 2 miles from me. It's snowing where he is, but not where I am. So, yeah.
Sorry, Rob, we got Caden back, and I'm not going to let us start the show without me finishing my speech because this has been a long time coming. So you're gonna fucking
sorry about that, man. I'm having issues with this phone.
Do not even worry about that, Caden. All I was gonna say is that, bro, I have been a massive fan of your platform and everything that you've done, and it was in part inspired me to do what I'm doing now. To have you on my show is just a full circle moment for me. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming through, my guy.
Listen, man, everything you said, I appreciate your kind words, but what I take away from it the most is that you were inspired to do your thing. And then I just seen you with Eddie Hearn, Daniel Dubois, Bomac. So to me, that's great to see, and just to know that there's a lot of talent out there, but you got to get out and you got to do it. And so you went out and you did it, and I see what you're doing. I'm proud, man. And hopefully we'll link up one day in the UK. That'll be dope.
I'm coming there. I told Tro, I said keep that room there free for me. I'm coming through to the thing, and we are going to do. I'm going to do a tour. Ra is obviously going to follow me because he needs to find a wife, and so do I. And hopefully America will help us with that. But thank you so much for joining us on the show.
No
Ra,
problem.
what do we have to speak about today?
Caden, before we go into it, Caden's perfect that you've joined us because we're going to be talking a few things American boxing. What part of the United States are you from?
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
I've been there 25 years. York. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what you say?
I like it. I've been to Boston. It's been 25 years, but I have been there. Yeah. Great memories. My days backpacking. Got a few stories that I'll have to tell you guys one day off camera.
Okay.
But yeah. Boston. Cool. Not really a center of American boxing power. Is it fair to say?
American boxing power?
Yeah, I'm saying Boston,
saying like
it isn't really. It's not really like that, is it? It's not one of the centers of American boxing.
Not anymore. When you think back in the days, you look at like Mike Tyson, someone who was training since he was 13. You think of Floyd Mayweather, someone who was training since he was a kid. Now in America, the people who get into boxing are like Deontay Wilder, someone who couldn't make it in basketball, someone who couldn't make it in football, So they decided to pick up boxing. Whereas back in the days, people aspired to be champions. They really wanted to do it. They loved it. If you look at our best fighters right now, like Terrence Bud Crawford, he was training since he was a kid. He loved it. He was working out with fighters like Sean Porter. You hear the story about him and Kenny Porter, and he was really into it at such a young age. But it is a dying sport in America, somewhat. You can say that, yeah.
Speaking about, okay. No, carry on, Ra. And we'll
I was going to say, obviously, growing up, when I was growing up, America was still the superpower of the sport. And it's great since I've been doing the reporting, getting to meet some guys. Met John David Jackson, who was a great middleweight back in the 90s.
Clarissa's current trainer.
He said,
yeah.
It was at one of her fights that I interviewed him. And I put this to him, and he said, yeah, he's worried that it'll be a lost art, because I've always thought Afro-Americans in particular had such a great tradition in this sport. Don't get me wrong, I'm not on that LGBTC race shit, but it's a culture. It was a very deep-rooted part of the culture, and as a result, you get so many of those great Afro-American fighters because, like you said, they had the coaching from a young age. That tradition was there, in any sort of any of the Afro-American communities in the big cities. There would probably be a boxing club where there'd be a coach who knew the sweet science inside out, and that's why you had those exceptionally, technically gifted American fighters. But as you said, they're not there anymore. Instead, you're getting guys like Waldo who are just exceptionally athletic, but clearly don't have the fundamentals of some of those greats of the past. Lucy, big up Lucy. She's, by American standards, close to you. Detroit, a great center of American boxing.
And she brought up the Kronk gym. So, one thing I would point out, based on what you said, you brought up something that I think it also plays a role in why we don't have that many great American heavyweights, or we don't have as many great American fighters as we used to. Is boxing gyms are closing all across America because it costs more to have a boxing membership than it does to have a membership at, say, the YMCA, than it does to have a membership at, say, a Crunch. And the owners of these gyms were struggling, and where there used to be these great champions, people used to come in and they used to get funding, but now there's more money going towards AAU, amateur athletics for basketball. There's more money going towards football and recruiting in middle school and in high school. These days, we know who's going pro by time in basketball and football by time they're in 8th grade. So boxing is different now,
Well,
it was, I guess, Cold War era where you got the funding. Now there's no USSR. You don't care if Russians and Kazakhs become heavyweight champ, do you? So
anyway, go on. There's no look. There's Canadians or wherever they are based at the time. Okay, shout out to Baturbiev in the building right now. Obviously, like I said, big up to you, my brother, man. We're gonna have a great show. We're gonna kick it off. Obviously, we had the press conference on Monday, gentlemen. What did His Excellency call it? What's the show called? It's he said something akin to Street Fighter.
Was it Knockout? I get it. Knockout. It's like in a computer game. Is that the sort of slogan when you've knocked someone out? Knockout chaos. Perfect win.
He said it's akin to Street Fighter. Obviously, Caden being from the UK, from the USA, I get it. Brandon could have been slightly better, His Excellency, but we're here. And the one thing that we do have to say to ourselves, guys, is that the real fights are being made. His Excellency had sat down with Ade. to have the conversation in terms of a lot of fighters. What's Abdul Wahid being one of them, aka Gervonta Davis.
Formerly known as Gervonta Davis.
That's the one, Caden. I was waiting for you to kind of help me there, but yeah, no, you did great. You did great. But just sensational. Just sensational. I feel like there's a lot of fighters that are going to be found out because of the money that His Excellency is putting in. We're going to talk about Joshua versus Ngannou. Kate and I obviously I religiously watch the Boxing Bros. I see you guys have spoken about it, but I want to hear from you specifically. Ryan and I will go next. What do you think about that fight and keys to victory and a winner?
So I think the fight is only intriguing based on the fact that Tyson Fury didn't dominate Francis Ngannou. Going into that fight, I didn't give Francis Ngannou a chance, and I didn't order that fight because I thought it was going to be a mismatch. But then Ngannou drops Tyson Fury, and on my scorecard, he won by a point. So I actually thought Ngannou pulled it off. So now what you're looking at is Anthony Joshua getting a chance to fight someone who many people believe beat Tyson Fury. And even if you thought Tyson Fury won, which there's an argument for that, he made boxing look bad because this man making his pro debut just hung. He was able to compete.
He smoked him, Caden. Caden, just express yourself. Be honest. Just say the shit like it actually is. He dropped him. He did everything. You said 1 point on the scorecard. I had it maybe about 2, 3. Just be honest.
I had it by 1. I wouldn't say he smoked him, but he was definitely the baddest man on the planet. That's what it was dubbed. If you asked me who was the baddest man in that ring, I will point to Francis Ngannou and say it was him. I don't care what the judges say, right? So now, can Anthony Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou and beat him in emphatic fashion? Because if he does that, this will be the second opponent that Anthony Joshua has beaten that Tyson Fury had difficulty with. Now, here's the kicker. Tyson Fury's best victory is Deontay Wilder. And if it was a stock, that stock has dropped based on how Joseph Parker has dominated Deontay Wilder. And Anthony Joshua's stock has risen based on what his former opponents are doing and what he's doing to former Tyson Fury opponents. So if Tyson Fury was somehow able to beat Alexander Usyk, I'm telling you right now, the biggest fight in the history of boxing might be Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury.
I think that goes without question. There's one thing that sorry, Rob, I'm gonna let you go next. There's one thing I wanted to ask you. In terms of Tyson Fury being Deontay Wilder's best win. Now, you made a video, Caden. Must have been a couple of years ago.
There's a correction. You met Tyson Fury's best win.
Tyson Fury's best win. I do apologize.
No, it's fine. I just don't want anyone, Deontay Wilder wishes.
However, you made a video, Caden. It was brilliant. It was, I can't remember what it was called, but it was something along the lines of The Curious Case of Deontay Wilder or Dr. Sleep. That's what I would have called it. I remixed the whole thing. But you went through his whole wins. You went through, his progression within the game. Ryan and I speak about this all the time. But, like you've said, if Tyson Fury, which I believe that Tyson is able to beat him, in terms of Deontay's resume, what would you, being from the stateside and seeing your quote unquote best American heavyweight fighter that you have on display there, when you see a performance like that with Joseph Parker, what do you think?
Nothing really. I never really rated Deontay, as you just stated. I made the video showing everyone how he was promoted and moved along the right way. in many heavyweights are. Joseph Parker got it the hard way. I actually think Joseph Parker's better than people give him credit for. I always stated that. He didn't look good against Anthony Joshua. He lost to Dillian White, but he came on late in that fight. And if they still fought 15 rounds, he may have won. Also, now we got to question whether or not Dillian was even clean for that fight, which is something within itself. But,
poor Dillian.
Yeah, I think not just Deontay Wilder, but the state of American boxing in the heavyweight division. You look at what happened with Big Baby Miller as well. Deontay wasn't the only one who was exposed. America took 2 L's out there in Saudi Arabia with Big Baby Miller. I think the art of intimidation sometimes in trash talk, I think they put too much emphasis on that and not enough on preparation and skill. And when you get at this level, you're not going to scare people with trash talking. And I think they're finding that out now.
One more question, Rob, and then I'm going to go to you. In terms of, Deontay's fighting elite, to elite competition now in the latter ends of his career. There was obviously a potential Zhang fight. I don't even want to go into it because there was just a massive headache in terms of a tweet. Yeah, I know, yeah, okay. But just,
Rico Scopper's fights.
yeah. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. But, where does Wilder go next? Just for you, Cade, and then Ra, I really want to get your point of view on this one as well.
I think that
Wilder rub that head real hard there.
You said well, Wilder goes next. He goes to PBC in cherry picking again. I don't think he can compete with the best heavyweights in the world. He tried to cherry pick Tyson Fury. Everyone knows the story. He had to lose 150 pounds, inactive for basically 2 years. Deontay Wilder was his 3rd fight in 9 months, and he got a draw with him. And then he smoked Deontay Wilder the 2nd fight, beat him the 3rd fight. Deontay Wilder fights Joseph Parker. Remember, Joseph Parker was supposed to be food for Deontay. He was coming off of being sparked out by Joe Joyce, the slowest heavyweight in the division. And Joe was able to catch Joseph Parker. Joe Joyce was able to catch Joseph Parker, and Deontay Wilder couldn't. I don't think Deontay Wilder takes another serious fight. I think Deontay Wilder, I think he overestimated his ability, his right hand, and he got in there, he got exposed. And I think if he fought Zhang, he would have been knocked out cold. That's what I think.
Raw.
Yeah, before I give my views, Caden, I just want to ask your opinion. Because it's so rare we got illustrious American fight fans on our show. If or when AJ and Fury fight, as you mentioned, probably be the biggest fight ever. Would it? I don't know. I'll be interested to see actually if it's just the biggest British heavyweight fight ever. Because will anyone in America care? My impression I get of Americans is if they can't be the best, we don't want to play. So basically, since the Lennox Lewis era, Americans have been like, heavyweight boxing, that's a crap game. We ain't into this shit no more. Is that a fair assessment?
I have to disagree slightly. I think there have been several European fighters who've come to America and captured the imagination of the American public. For example, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis came here, and Lennox Lewis used to fight here. He used to sell out here. And I was a Tyson fan. I fell in love with boxing because of Iron Mike Tyson as a kid. And when he fought Lennox, I knew what was going to happen. And watching Lennox, I became a Lennox fan. And I think you have several fighters who've crossed over to the American public. And I think Tyson Fury is one of them, to be honest with you. I think Tyson Fury fights in America. He'll sell more tickets than Deontay Wilder. So I do think that if Tyson Fury was to be able to beat Alexander Usyk, become undisputed, and fight Anthony Joshua, I do think there's a huge portion of the American public that would be interested in that fight.
Okay. I recall growing up that Lewis was always ridiculed in the American press. They used to call him amateurish, which he did look until the late great Emmanuel Stewart finally took over his training. They were always much more supportive of Riddick Bowe. I mean, he had to beat Holyfield and then go on a run as the man at heavyweight for them to.
He got robbed in the first fight with Holyfield. And most Americans know it. I think, sometimes the loudest voice becomes the representation of all people. Like, for example, one of the reasons why we started Boxing Bros was because we saw the representation of American fans and we were like, yo, this is not what American fans are like, right? And we saw like a whole bunch of American fans hating on Anthony Joshua, and we're like, we love Anthony Joshua. And we saw so I think sometimes the loudest voices are mistaken for, the majority. And that's not necessarily true. Lennox Lewis, he has 2 bad L's. He avenged them. And those losses came to American heavyweights. And naturally, America wants to be the best at everything. I mean, that's just the way people are in general. I think you take pride in your nation, but you realize when you're looking at someone who's the real deal. And anyone who tells you that Lennox Lewis isn't the real deal, they're just hating.
Well, in terms of patriotism,
yeah,
I suffered. Oh, mate, I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. Caden Ora knows this. He, it's example. Callum Smith goes to Canada. I'm here. Callum, you are the guy. Callum, yes, he just got his arm fucked up by Canelo. It happens.
No chance.
It happened. For me, and people like me. Go on.
Rico, if Liam Davies went to Tokyo to challenge Naoya Inoue, you think he'd outpoint him, don't you?
Fuck you. Yeah. Of course. Yes,
no
of course
chance.
I'm going.
No chance.
That gives you an example. That gives you an idea of how patriotic Rico is. So, yeah, sorry. I digressed a bit. You want to know my opinion on what AJ and Ngannou, right? I think it's an okay fight. It's not what I wanted to see. It's not first choice, second, third, even fourth or fifth choice. But he's not a champion. So in answer to Lucy's question, was it Lucy? No, Kaya Saka saying, who's getting more hate for fighting Ngannou, AJ or Fury? Well, Fury rightfully should get more hate because he was a champion. AJ's now just a contender trying to work his way back into position. So he's not obligated to fight the best. So yeah, I don't hate the fight, but it ain't what I wanted to see. I think it's dangerous, and you know me, I don't overrate a fighter because of a good performance, but I don't write them off either. So things like him dropping Fury, well, lesser punches have dropped Fury. Yeah, he's been dropped by a journeyman, Nevin Pajkic. So I don't think you can read too much into that. The reason I think it can be dangerous, as our illustrious Joe Gallagher pointed out, even though Fury can be hurt, his recovery is very quick. AJ, he seems to have a tendency to, if he gets hit, stay hit. We saw signs of that against Klitschko originally, but Klitschko's a highly conservative fighter who doesn't push the pace. When he got hurt against Ruiz is someone who can keep punching. I don't buy this crap that AJ's chilly. He might not be iron jawed, but I don't think he's chilly, because if he was, he'd have been flat on his back, counted out by now. But if he doesn't get the breathing space, he can gas out and get himself into trouble that way. So if he goes too all out to try and get a stoppage and doesn't get Ngannou out, yeah, it could be interesting. He could inadvertently find himself in trouble. If he boxes sensibly, it should be a straightforward win. But there is jeopardy there. And also, you got to remember one thing about Fury is I think he's better at improvising than AJ. Like, he can switch things up and think on his feet. So when things didn't work out right against Ngannou, he was able to sort of switch things up, get behind his boxing. I don't think he can do that yet. I think
where did he switch anything? Where was the switch?
Oh, I don't agree with you that he won, that Ngannou won for a start. I think he then realized
rotted out here.
No, I'm on the same wavelength as professional judges, 2 of whom scored it for Fury.
And these professional judges are screwing everybody.
MMA fighter versus a boxer. Not just any boxer.
The reason so many people think Ngannou won is because it's such a great moral victory. Because in your first fight, you run the heavyweight champion really, really close. But I don't think it was a robbery. I think if they were 2 unknown fighters, and there weren't that difference in experience and status, I don't think people would have thought it's a robbery. You could think, yeah, so what was it? 6 rounds to 4 is reasonable. 1 point in it, as 2 of the judges scored. Francis had the bigger moments in the fight. The rounds he won more impressively because he hurt Fury. But the other rounds, which were given to Fury, he didn't win them impressively. But technically, how you score a fight, or how some judges score a fight, it's reasonable. I mean, he didn't put a dent in Francis at all. But I think it's fair to say that 6 out of the 10 rounds, he did land more punches. It's just that they didn't put a dent in it. They just bounced off him. So I think that's where people are getting the perception of the scoring wrong. It's the perception of the overall effect of the fight.
So I have a quick question. I don't want to interrupt you, but you're saying a lot. So you're saying that Fury landed more punches and he just didn't put a dent in Ngannou. And Ngannou landed the better punches. That's what you're admitting. Boxing's about scoring clean, effective punches. So if Ngannou lands less punches, but his punches are more effective, for example, they drop Fury. When he lands them, they hurt Fury. He's landing the more effective punches.
But Caden, fights are scored round by round. So although the 4 rounds, which I think is reasonable to say Francis won, he won them more impressively. He caught Fury with big shots, visibly hurt him. It was still 4 rounds, whereas the 6 rounds where Fury outlanded him in an unimpressive fashion, those 6 rounds, it's still reasonable to give to Fury. You see what I'm saying? It's because it's round by round.
I understand what you're saying. I was just like I said before, I scored it 1 point for Ngannou, but I understand how someone could score it for Fury. I guess what I was just getting at is like arguing that, Fury landed more punches, he should win. I don't think that's like a winning argument because it doesn't matter. If you land 7 jabs on me and I hit you with 1 left hook and I wobble you and you almost fall, I think I win the round. It could be 7-1, but
in the next 2 rounds, I hit you twice and you only hit me once. Those next 2 rounds, I've won them. Unless the judges perceive that 1 punch you landed was way more effective than the 2 punches I landed. You see what I'm saying?
No, we agree.
Hey, listen, when you say it's not a winning argument, for 2 of the judges, it was.
No, I'm saying we agree on what you're saying, which is Most of the time, if you land more punches, you win the round. I'm saying there are exceptions when someone lands less punches, but they do more damage and it's visible. And I'm saying there were some of those in the Ngannou Fury fight. That's all I'm saying. So that's where the debate comes in.
I think for sure, like I said, that's why so many people think Francis won, because the rounds he did win, he won them more impressively. Anyway, it's water under the bridge for now. I do think for all the shit that Fury's getting, I think that win of his might age well, in the sense that I wouldn't be surprised if he looks impressive again, at least in parts, against Joshua. I do expect Joshua to win, but if he was matched carefully, I mean, he could beat some of the heavyweights who are in the top 10, top 15, including some big names. If nothing else, he's just got such tremendous physical traits. We know he can hit like anything, and now it looks like he can take a shot as well. So there are heavyweights out there who are fragile, but they're still hovering around the top 10. So anyone who's somewhat fragile, I would expect Francis to get to them. Skillful boxers, I would expect, now that they know what he's capable of doing, I'd expect them to outbox him. But there's fragile heavyweights out there. Bukayo Saka thinks Wilder's one of them. Hey, listen, I'm going to go against the grain on that. I don't think it's over with Wilder.
It's over.
If he wants to carry on doing this, and admittedly, from what the way his reaction after the Parker fight suggests, he doesn't. So when a fighter's mentally in that space, forget it.
Who do you think he beats that's reputable? Who do you think he beats that would spring him back into the discussion with
Deontay Wilder?
Deontay Wilder. Who do you think? I think Ngannou. I think his stock has risen, and I think that he's in a good place. Even if he loses to Anthony Joshua, I think he's in a good place. But when you talk about Deontay Wilder, I'm asking, who can Deontay Wilder fight and actually beat for people to start putting him back in the discussion with Anthony Joshua, or back in the discussion with wanting to see him fight Usyk or Fury? I don't see it. I don't see anyone.
If he was to fight him straight up next, probably not. But if he was to do what Parker and AJ did, i.e. go away, build a bit of momentum, maybe a couple of lower tier fighters,
he's not wrong.
Then he might. I mean, no, listen, it will require good matchmaking. But what I'm saying is, I'm not ready to write him off as shot yet, because he still was able to move for 12 rounds. And he looked like he could still take a bit of a shot. Now, they say if you can't pull the trigger, it's a sign you're shot. Well, it depends. Why couldn't he pull the trigger? Is it that his instincts, his reflexes are gone? Or is it because Andy Lee had devised such a good strategy that he was able to consistently neutralize Wilder's positioning to get the right hand off? Because not all top 10 heavyweights can do that. Not all of them are technically good. Not all of them have got a good ring IQ, which Parker has both of. There's a lot of guys in the top 10 at heavyweight who are still technically flawed. So could they all do that the way Parker did? I'm not convinced. Like I said, I think you would have to see if Deontay is willing to do it, which it don't look like he is. If he was willing to have 4 fights in 2024, okay, we'll give him a 1 knockover. Then as someone who'll make him work. Then a live contender. Yeah, and then we might get a better idea as to whether he's actually shot or simply in decline, as you'd expect someone in their 30s to be. So
I don't think Haney Ruiz would help Deontay Wilder. We haven't seen Haney Ruiz fight in how long?
Thank you, Caden. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Isn't that a fair fight?
No, damn it, Ra. No, Ra. No. We need to have actual, real conversations about stuff right now. Because what you're saying, it must be the turtleneck. But I'm not having any of this right now. And I'm going to tell you why, sir. Okay. Deontay Wilder has not fought a proper world opposition fighter since the first Tyson Fury fight. Luis Ortiz, even though he's a young Cuban man, and I use the term young very loosely, he's not good. He's not good. The thing is that if Wilder had applied himself, and I've always said this, kid, and I've even said this on your show, if he applied himself from getting a bronze medal to proper, right, progressions, yeah. If Shelly Finkel wasn't calling him a prospect when he won a world title, I would have so much more confidence in this man than I do right now. But I just don't. You can't. He had 2 left feet in there against Joseph Parker, right? And before Ra, no, Ra, stop it. Okay, stop it. We're not doing this. The thing is that you cannot teach.
No, you're right.
At 38,
at 38, he ain't gonna be
done. The thing is, what you said, Ra. You said the man needs to be active and fight at least 4 times a year. That is asking a hell of a lot. The man is doing Afro beats right now in Tulsa.
It's not okay. No. Americans ain't into Afro beats. He's doing
well. Apparently they are. Caden,
I listen to Afro beats. What you talking about?
I know, Caden, and also, guys, please do check out the Boxing Bros album. Caden's actually good. Him and Tro actually can rap.
Phantom is good. I don't touch him.
I'm not as harsh on Wilder as you. Listen, he ain't.
That's not harsh. We
all know he ain't as good as his sycophant fans thought. However, the only thing I would say is most of these heavyweights, they're not fighting.
I got you pegged out, bro.
Other than AJ, nobody has a deep resume. Think about it.
You like Tyson Fury, so you cover for Tyson Fury a lot. Based on what you say,
you got it wrong. You
cover for Tyson Fury.
AJ's my boy. I'm just saying.
AJ's your boy, but look, you cover.
I'll tell you now. I've been saying it for the past year. I've predicted Usyk stops Fury. That's been my prediction. He won't just beat him. I predict he'll stop him. I like Fury on a personal level. He's always been cool with me. The few times I've come across him, but I do think he's very much on the slide, and a bit like Wilder. I think he probably wasted his best years. But no, I'm just saying,
slide. They've not had consistent competition like Big Femi in the place. Yeah, we really talking about this right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages?
You're getting too. Listen, I already said nobody has got a resume like AJ. But if you're looking at everyone else, none of the top heavyweights, they're not fighting each other generally. I mean, look at Hrgovic. He's basically got to be the mandatory with one hard fight, Zhang.
And he lost that.
Yeah.
He
so
did.
That is the modern heavyweight scene. Other than AJ and, all right, Usyk, obviously most of his career has been at cruiserweight, so we can give him a pass for that. But yeah, Usyk's the only other guy.
And he lost to Daniel Dubois. I'm just going to say that right now. Okay.
Yo, Rico, you were bugging with that one, Rico, man.
What you mean, dog? What do you mean, bro?
You became like public enemy number 1 on Twitter for Daniel Dubois.
He went to 46,000 fans in Warklaw, Poland, and got screwed, Caden. Not only did he get screwed, he got screwed. They played the president. Who wants to see Zala? Listen, all right, okay, let's I don't want you guys call it aspirin. I don't want to do that tonight. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the other fights that His Excellency wants to bring forth. But we all know Daniel.
We need Caden's input.
Okay.
Because it's all American.
Actually, before we do, sorry, I do, Caden, I do have to get your prediction on this. I want to get some shorts. You, like myself, we love the women's division. We have an American boxer in Michaela Mayer fighting the queen, Tasha Jonas. I'm going to let you guys go first, and I'll come back at the end. Caden, I'm going to start with you.
Look, man, I know how much you're involved with women's boxing. I've seen you with is it Carolyn Dubois, and I've seen you representing. I think that Michaela Mayer is going to win. I think Natasha Jonas is 39 years old. Michaela Mayer is 33. Michaela Mayer is taller. When you look at the level of opposition that they faced, I think that Michaela Mayer, in her mind, she's undefeated. I think she lost a close fight to Alicia Baumgartner, and I know that you're in love with Alicia Baumgartner as well.
Listen, no, wait, no, I am not a sim for Alicia. What I will say is that she's very properly managed in terms of an aesthetic. Everywhere.
I follow, and I understand, but I mean, there is a cloud of suspicion over her now based on an adverse finding. Although the WBC has said she's been cleared, the WBC has also cleared Connor Ben. So,
who are they to just clear people?
I don't know, but
have you heard of this? This is, I mean, oh my gosh, it's okay, Caden, you're saying Michaela's going to win.
Yeah, I think that Natasha Jonas is going to put up a good fight. I think she's very talented. I think she's skilled, but I think she's on a downslide. I think, she's approaching 40, and there's too many physical advantages against her to win this fight. That's what I think. But we'll see. That's why we have the fight.
Interesting. Raw.
I agree with Caden on both counts. Size and age, having seen them both up close at the launch press conference in London. Mayer, she's considerably bigger. It's an interesting example of how sometimes a fighter can be coming up from a lower weight but still be bigger. There's a lot of fighters like that. It's simply because if a particular fighter might be able to boil off more weight than someone else. Yeah, so they're able to operate at a smaller weight class. I think we saw that a similar phenomenon when Charlo fought Canelo. People were talking about he's fighting someone much bigger. But actually, they were a similar size. It's just that one of them was boiling off more weight for longer. So, yeah, I think Mayer also, she's got a great old school American coach who's schooled her exceptionally. But most importantly of all, this year, they both curved me. Yeah. Very
there we have it.
Very rudely. And when you do that to Rahokam, you're cursed. Michaela Mayer.
Who curbed you particularly? Who curbed you? I'll need the names.
Both of them, Caden. Both of them. No, this is not his real prediction. He knows that Tasha Jonas is going to go in there and absolutely.
They're gonna knock out now. They're gonna knock each other out now. They curved them.
Mayer gave me the attention I deserve. She's blessed. Yeah. Jonas, like Alicia, curved me. Very, very rudely as well. you get cursed. So, Mayer. And I'll tell you what, I don't think the home advantage
with a straight ass face.
I don't think it will necessarily help her as much because Mayer's got the more powerful backing in Top Rank and ESPN. So, yeah, it could well be that they want to, especially as Alicia's talking about fighting Shields at welterweight. So is she moving up? So, you know, that long-awaited rivalry. Yeah, maybe American TV companies, if anyone's going to have. Right, top of this. Oh, but guess what? There is some good news. Some of our British beauties, none other than Shannon Ryan, for example.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
She takes a compliment very well. Yeah. First time I interviewed her, I told her how beautiful she was, and she took it. You know, she weren't creeped out. You know, so yeah, it is tough out there, but yeah, the game is the game. But I think Maya size and youth advantage. I think that will see her over the line. I think Tasha might find out.
Let your favorite female fighters know that if they curve Raw, it's all downhill from there. Case in point, Alicia Baumgartner curved them, and then an adverse finding came later.
Hey,
Remember that.
I mean, Ryan, she was cool with me, and her career's just gone up and up. Every fight she gets better. So yeah.
So we know what's happening to Natasha Jonas then, but let's hear. Go like my man Rico.
Okay, do you know what it is? I'm fucking sick of this shit. Okay, and excuse my German because I don't like the French. What I'm going to say is actual facts. Michaela has looked like shit in her last 4 fights. Okay, ever since she lost to Baumgartner, Caden, this is actually real. You know this to be true, young Skywalker. It's true. Okay, she has looked terrible in her last 4 fights. Guess who's looked absolutely amazing since curving Raw? Natasha Jonas. Sparking everybody and their mother, sending them to Bethlehem, 1000 BC, Valhalla, everywhere. Okay, and it's just a fact. And let's not forget that Natasha has gone up to 154 pounds, captured 3 belts. Watch my interview for the whole thing with her and Terry Harper, which is absolutely incredible. But that never happened. And the thing is, it is what it is. She came back down. I even said to Tasha, "Are you okay at the weight?" She said, "Rico, I'm fine. I'm going to spark this chick." Guess what she did? And that was just after she curved Raw on that day. So really, I believe that we're going to see a Natasha Jonas knockout by the 7th round. Raw, I want to get your prediction in terms of rounds or points, and then Caden, we're going to go to you, and then we're going to go to the final talking point of tonight, because I do really want to get Caden on the Twitter show and yourself as well.
I'm going Michaela Meyer on points because it takes time for the magic to work.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay.
Yo, I think you're gonna be upset again, Rico. I think Michaela Mayer is gonna win by like 4 to at the least 3 rounds. And Natasha Jonas, I don't think she can knock Michaela Mayer out. Alicia Baumgartner couldn't do it, so I don't think Natasha Jonas is gonna do it.
Interesting. It was at 130 pounds, and she's coming up to 147 from 130, but whatever. Semantics. The last
a punch is a puncher. A punch is a puncher.
And you should be saying about Natasha, because Natasha actually gets people out of there, Caden. Okay, we're going to move on.
Rico, I don't mean to talk about your women like this. I'm sorry.
Talk about my women. I'm just a fan. It's fans. It's fun. And I've met both. Absolutely lovely.
I know.
Okay? When you're not trying to get their number, brilliant. Anyway, we move. Abdul Wahid, formerly known as Gervonta Tank Davis, His Excellency came into an interview with DAZN. Shout out to Ade, and he said that he wants to get Abdul and Devin Haney to fight. Now, from both of you, just to close the show, and Ra, I'm going to let you go next because Caden is our very special guest, so I want him to close it out. the most expression on this one, because I feel you got to subscribe to the Boxing Bros. Caden's brilliant. Ra, what do you think?
Skeptical that it'll happen. I don't think the Saudis are going to make much inroads in the American market. I don't think they particularly want to. I just think the things like the geography, the time difference might not suit them. Americans don't travel much. The whole purpose that they're putting these really big events in Riyadh is they're supposed to kickstart their tourist industry. That's why they're putting them on. So how many American tourists are going to go to Saudi Arabia? Most Americans don't even go to Europe, never mind the Middle East. So I don't think they will. Also, I don't think I don't know how much the Saudis are overpaying these fighters.
A lot. The
question is it more than an American star can make in pay-per-view sales? You got to remember the difference in market size. America's 400 million people. So I don't think, and remember, Americans pay a lot for their pay-per-view. They pay like $80 for the star fighters. So
$84 now.
I'm so sorry, Caden. I'm so sorry. Like I think I've told Troll this as well and everything. I apologize on behalf of your people for them charging you that fucking ridiculous nonsense that you've had to pay. And that's just from me to you, buddy.
Americans like paying it.
No, they don't. Caden, do you like spending that bread? Is that a bread that you like to spend?
Listen, Caden, this is my theory. This is what I'm going by. People online are saying it's a flex. It's like you know, people want to show off their bling and stuff. It's like, yeah, I'll pay $80 for a boxing match. You know, it's a flex.
No, it's not. It's not
this
a flex.
Is how much we earn.
You're coming into work on Monday. Oh, bro, I must have just spent like $80 on this fight, bro.
I'd much rather buy some sneakers, man, than
I'm looking at you
that.
like you're a fucking idiot. That's like somebody telling me that they've spent they bought something on Kanye's collection. No, that's not a flex. Never has been.
But anyway, I don't see this fight necessarily happening. I think that the amounts Gervonta's going to want, because he earns a lot anyway as a pay-per-view star in America. So for him to go over there, all right. The thing is, fighters get this perception. If they have one big sale, they think that's their worth. That's why you got Tio saying things like he wants 10 million or 20 million and blah blah blah. You know, they can overpay people like Beterbiev and Bivol, but that's because those guys are never going to be stars. Yeah, so they don't actually have to overpay them much. But if Gervonta thinks he's now worth 30 million minimum, then he's going to say, well, the Saudi, you guys are billionaires, pay me 100 million. And I don't think the Saudis really will see that much value in it, because like I said, Americans aren't going to go over to Saudi Arabia in any significant numbers. And again, the pay-per-view, what is the time difference between the East Coast and Saudi Arabia? There's something.
Hopefully it's late. Hopefully it's very late. I hope you don't have to wake up at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock.
No, it's about 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Don't you guys
just have like everything nice happen to you? Like that's awful for me to hear. Because I stay up for all of your fight, Ra, and I stay up until God knows what in the morning.
But yeah, short end is I will be very surprised if it happens in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at this point it looks like Tank Davis's career will go the same way as Spence and maybe Wilder's. Underachievers.
I actually asked for a winner or a loser there, but Ra gave us a nice little sermon. Brilliant. Caden, the same to you.
Look, it's very interesting, and I wish I can say that I'm interested in a fight between Abdul Wahid and Devin the Dream Haney. But I think there's a better option that I would like to pose to His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh. So if I was him, what I would do is I would figure out a way to make numbers work and try to put on a Super Six. And the Super Six would feature Teofimo Lopez, Rolly Romero, Subriel Martinez, Devin Haney, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Ryan Garcia.
What about Barroso?
Barroso, come on, man. He already lost to Rolly.
Come on, man. If anyone's earned a pension scheme, it's Barroso.
You know what? I said the Super Six. I named the people I think Barroso isn't going to generate any interest.
Yeah, but that means he'll accept less.
I don't think anyone. If you want to replace, so who has the belt? Rolly has the belt, right? Because the point of this is to generate an undisputed champion at the end. And Barroso doesn't have the belt. Subriel Martinez has a belt. Tio has a belt. Devin has a belt. And Rolly. So that's what it's about. Tank and Ryan are the two biggest stars that would be in the tournament. So that's how they get in. But my point is, if you could put that on, I think it does one or two things. One, I think it guarantees that you're going to have American celebrities flying out to Saudi Arabia to see the fights. That was one of your concerns, Raw. You were saying how the American public won't come out. You got Abdul Tank Rahid fighting, Devin out there. I think the American public will come. And for the record, like, they did have American celebrities present at some of those fights. I know that there were some American rappers, but I think if you put on this tournament, the buzz that it would generate, you see how they had like the heavyweight card of all the heavyweights fighting each other in the Day of Reckoning. Now you do something like that with these fighters, I think everyone's coming out. So, I like I said again, I would submit to His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh to try to put on Super Six in the 140-pound division with the great fighters they have in there right now. Teofimo Lopez, Rolly Romero, Subriel Martinez, Devin Haney, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Ryan Garcia. I think that would sell. And of course, there would be multiple fights because you can do it, even if you lose and you're not in the running to become undisputed, you still get another fight against someone else who lost. And so there would still be a lot of money involved, still be big fights, and you still would be fighting on the card. And we can finally see who's number one at 140. So that's what I would propose, because I'm not so sure that if they did it that way, Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney would end up being the best at 140.
Damn it, Caden. That was a mic drop. And obviously, because we gone a little bit over the show, and I do want to get Caden for at least 15 minutes. I think we've gone over the 20 that he promised in terms of Twitter. But I just want to say, honestly, bro, first of all, thank you so much to my co-host Ra and that turtleneck. Absolutely immaculate stuff.
Can I say one thing to Raw real quick? Raw, man, you have a raw opinion of Americans, man. You be going in on Americans, man.
I haven't been back for 25 years. I probably ought to go over there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I just, yeah.
I don't know if I'll be let in anymore. But, yeah.
No, like I said, thank you guys so much. This has been the RnR Hour. We've had our very, very, very special guest, which is Caden from the Boxing Bros. Please follow the Boxing Bros, and I'm going to let Caden obviously do his socials and everything before we do go. Ra, your final thoughts and anything from the turtleneck?
No, the usual. Look out for some content. and I am going to Saudi Arabia for the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship of the World. So hopefully I'll get plenty of, content from over there and inspire some Americans to travel.
And I do believe we might have a very special show coming with Ra and I. It seems to be a little bit of a hit, but Caden, I'm going to let you, obviously, I socials, everything. Where can we find the Boxing Bros? Where we can find yourself? Everything, bro.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't like the Boxing Bros. If you just write the Boxing Bros USA, you'll find our channel. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, you need to subscribe. Continue to support Ra and Rico, my brothers who really love boxing. I mean, you have people who push agendas and who push narratives, but to have people who genuinely love the sport and are for the advancement of the sport, that's what it's all about. So it's my pleasure, and continue to support the real channels, because I noticed that the channels that get all the love are the ones that generate fake beef, the ones that always disrespect fighters on a personal level. When people try to keep it clean and try to have real, honest, objective discussions, they don't really get as much love. You got to kind of sell your soul to get support. So hopefully that doesn't have to happen. And I refuse to do it. I know you guys refuse to do it. So please support good channels out here.
Thank you so much, Caden. Thank you so much, Caden. It was absolutely amazing to have you on the show, man. I would love to get you back.
Definitely.
Yeah. Amazing moment for me, guys. Not gonna lie. Like anyway, I explained it all in the beginning of the show. You're gonna watch the live back and stuff. But thank you so much, Caden, for coming through. Thank you so much, Ra. Hopefully you do get that Saudi princess. We don't know, but you're going back, and yeah, it's yeah, I'll put my money on you on the bookies. Take care, God bless, and more importantly, look after each other, because that's what we have. Ikram.
It's another band. All the mass and cars now, whichever get up. I stop my